Hello everyone, this is DavidViadel23 and welcome to the Mandragonscape. Today we are gonna be drawing Donquixote Rosinante, or better known as Corazón, from One Piece. This is a request, so let's go and start drawing Corazón, okay? Corazón is the Spanish translation for heart, okay? So when we say heart, what comes to our mind, or at least to my mind, is the Heart Pirates, the Law, Trafalgar Law Pirates, okay? So today we will be looking into the connection of Corazón with Law, as well as with Doflamingo, explaining a little bit, basically, the Doflamingos, the Donquixote Doflamingo family and everything, a little bit, and how they came to be. So what happened there? So for all of those starting here new in the channel, so here we in these One Piece videos we talk theories of One Piece, we explain kind of we kind of suggest theories, and we explain some characters, some things from the past, how they managed to achieve what they achieved and things like this. So today is gonna be one of those videos, okay, where I kind of go through the lore of the story, through the background of the characters, so we can understand a little bit more and we can try to figure out a little bit better how many things may happen in the story, okay? So this is gonna be Corazon's head. He has like this kind of hat with hearts here. I want to draw loose today, kind of very loose, trying to create a few lines to create a character. So it's gonna be something like this. The face is pointy. Okay, so Rosinante looks quite similar in design to Doflamingo. The face, the body, this kind of cape, and etc. So he has a fruit as well, that is the calm fruit, a fruit that allows him to create rooms like Law, and in these rooms, or when he applies this to an object or to a person, everything is quiet, there is no sound, and this is very useful later in the story when he's trying to save Law, okay? No one knows about it, and I will tell you later why. It seems to be as well, Rosinante is introduced as a very clumsy character. He's kind of doing a role towards Doflamingo. He's pretending to be someone that he's not during the whole story, and I think the clumsiness is a part of the paper, this kind of character that he's playing, because later when we see him a little bit more serious in the story, you don't see much this silliness in him. The whole time you have it present, but you don't see it much, okay? So this is gonna be a hand here, the other hand is like this, and then the legs. I wanna see if I'm actually in frame. Let's move it a little bit up here. We will do the shirt. It's open because it has a little bit of a Spanish design with the, you know, the shirt open, and it is very hot in Spain and everything, so a little bit of a mix. If you can see the Rosa, the saga where we meet the Doflamingo group, all of them are very, the city and the characters are very summer and very Spanish and very Gaudí, like the artist, in the style, okay? So we are kind of defining right now, because as we talk about One Piece, but we talk about art here, and for all of you as well that are following the videos for the mere concept of art and drawing and trying to copy the drawing. I had many people saying that they do that while watching the videos. Basically, what I'm doing now, it's a basic sketch, and from this basic sketch we will work more the line work later to define what is gonna be our character Corazón, okay? So right now we do a couple of fingers. This hand is half in the pocket like this, okay? Just want to make sure that I am kind of, I think I may have drawn him a little bit too tall. So we may cut a little bit the feet or something. I hope not much at least. Maybe just a tiny bit there, the head maybe. And the boots. I love the style of this guy. Very stylish, very nice, very Law copied a lot the style of this character as well, so I like it. We do the boots as well like this. He's walking. If you can see like this, doing the boots, tiny boots like this. Okay, a little bit of style from the 80s as well. With this. Okay, looks good. Looks good. I like it. Now we need to make the design for this cape that he's wearing, like the flamingo. Obviously, the capes have plenty of feathers and everything. I don't wanna do any kind of replica of what we have already. I just wanna go for a randomized design, like when I draw the Doflamingo character as well. I'm gonna put the Doflamingo video here so you can have a look as well. I go through the character, kind of explaining that why he's one of the greatest villains in the whole story of One Piece, and how I think he needs to come back to the story and escape from Impel Down in a flashy way to be at the very end of the story, and on top of that, brandishing one of the mechanical launcher weapons. I invite you to check that video. Is very interesting, very nice, one of my favorite videos in the channel, one of the most viewed videos in the channel as well. So I invite you to have a look and to come back here if you want, and we can discuss it as well. I'm open to conversation, and yeah, it will be nice to talk and to see your opinions and to see if what I'm mentioning or what I'm suggesting there in this video, in the Doflamingo video, in all of these videos in the channel basically, if actually it can be or no, or maybe I'm just, you know, trying to theorize for the sake of having a very nice theory and a very nice idea of what might happen, but it maybe nothing like I'm explaining that is gonna happen. But for the sake of the theory, if you want to talk about it, I'm here to reply to the comments as soon as I see it. Okay, I invite you to do that, and yeah, and let's open conversation. Okay, I think we kind of have the design kind of like this. I want to define only a little bit more the arm here, okay, just for the sake of having a little bit more of a structure. But the hand is going to be like this, and then the fingers. He's like Sanji, he's a smoker like Sanji, so we'll do the cigarette there, like this. And like this. Okay. Yeah, very nice, very interesting. One of these very particular things about him is that he does not talk, and I will explain as well later why is that. There is kind of a lot of trauma and a lot of things going on with the Donquixote family, and it makes these two brothers have a little bit of a disagreement, let's say. I'm gonna be kind of giving you a lot of trivia, let's say, from these characters, from the names, from where they come and everything. If you like to read, you may see already how the Don Quixote family name refers to the Spanish story of Don Quixote de la Mancha by Miguel de Cervantes, very famous author in Spain. And Rosinante, that is the name of this character, was the name of his horse in the original story. And obviously it doesn't follow any kind of pattern, but it kind of Oda keeps the Spanish kind of concept with this, keeping the architecture of the Rosa, the name of the characters, the concept of the family, family and things like this, and a big family as well. Something very Spanish and very Italian as well is this concept of big tables with a lot of family members all eating together and things like this, and it's very interesting. So some more trivia, let's say, for this is like on first instance we see. We have Corazón introduced as Doflamingo's little brother, okay? Currently a pirate crew that has overtaken Dressrosa Island, casting away the royalty, King Riku and the rest of the family. At the same time, Doflamingo is one of the Shichibukai, or Seven Lords of the Sea. Shichibukai is the translation in Japanese for Seven Lords of the Sea, the ones who kind of control, in theory, at the beginning of the story, those parts of the seas. But we don't have much information about them until very much late, okay? This is a group of pirates, the Shichibukai, acknowledged by the government. This is basically, they work for them in some instances. They are government dogs, considered by some people as government dogs, okay? And these are the initial bad guys that we are supposed to defeat in the One Piece story, okay? In the whole scenario of Oda creating One Piece is kind of to make us face these enemies and have to defeat them. But how the story is extended later on, we introduce the Yongos, we introduce more story in depth in the lore and in the territory of different pirates. But originally, these seven Lords of the Sea, the Shichibukais, were the bad guys that we were gonna defeat, okay? This is a real thing that happened in the pirate era in the 1550s, because, you know, when we had Nassau and everything, and that was a stronghold of pirates basically, and there was a lot of governments like English government and any other no governments, kingdoms, I would say, they would go fighting against the pirates there and everything. So there were corsairs were called. Those guys were people having papers that allowed them to attack other pirates, and part of the loot, most of the loot, would be for the kingdom that paid. Let's say the English kingdom have paid this specific crew or two specific crews, and they are working for them as their dogs basically. So they would loot some Spanish ships, you know, from Holland, from many places, and part of the treasure would go to the kingdom. Some other part of the treasure, the pirates will keep it, and they will have this kind of paper allowing them to attack other people to practice piracy. Okay, that piracy at that time was punished by death. If you were a pirate in that time, in the golden era of pirates, in real life, they will capture you and they will execute you, okay? But there were specific situations that they would allow you to kind of, let's say, play with them, okay? So just so you know that this concept of Shichibukai is something that happened in real life, okay? But here is how Oda is representing these characters. Most of these characters that we see, those pirates that we see, are in land. We don't see much of a sea battle in One Piece, and I miss it a lot. I would love to see that, like in the movie number 4, Dead End, because it's something beautiful and something that can give a lot of a story to the One Piece characters. But Oda, I think he focuses in land pirates. That was something that was happening as well in Nassau and in other places, that the pirate, when he had a little bit of power or he wanted a little bit of stability, kind of a little bit trying to retire from the pirate life, some of them would take or buy a piece of land in, you know, Nassau or around Nassau, one of the islands of the Caribbean, and they will start, you know, growing fruit and everything there, and growing food. But obviously you will have, even in that situation, military, you know, government officers and everything, agents of the law going there to attack them and everything, okay? That is something that it happened always. It's something that happened always, okay? But yeah, as I said, these Shichibukai were supposed to be the bad guys of the story since the very beginning, okay? The original Shichibukai from pre-time skip. There are new ones after time skip because some of them are defeated, but we don't want to look into those right now. We just want to do into, I just want to mention the pre-time skip ones, the original ones, okay? Is Doflamingo, as I mentioned. We have Dracul Mihawk as well, that he is the best swordsman in the world, and the man that Zorro aspires to defeat, okay? We have Sir Crocodile, the man who is trying in secret to get his hands onto ancient weapon Pluton to create his own utopia, his own world, and he's the boss, he's the leader there. We have Bartholomew Kuma, someone who was introduced at the same time of Doflamingo in the same panel when the meeting of the Shichibukais happened to replace Crocodile and everything. We don't know much about him at that point. Now we do. I'm not gonna go into that, but the only thing that they mention, kind of, they do a remark at that point, is that he is supposed to be the most loyal of them, and they don't know why. And later we see why that happens, okay? We have Gecko Mori as well, who is basically creating an army of zombies using his Shadow Fruit to kind of not have to lose any other comrades anymore after fighting with Kaido, that we learn this afterwards as well. We have Boa Hancock, the only woman in this group of Shichibukais. He's the queen and pirate captain of the Kuja. She's supposed to be the most beautiful woman in the world, but in One Piece this is mentioned several times. She's supposed to be the most beautiful, but when everyone sees Shirahoshi, Shirahoshi is the most beautiful, and it happened a couple of times. So yeah, but in theory she's supposed to be the most beautiful of the world, and she has the fruit of, like, the Medusa, the Gorgon, to make people stone. And then the last one, we have Jinbei, the Knight of the Sea. In theory, it's a dangerous Gyojin, a fishman, who he was the one who unleashed Arlong into the sea some years ago. I have videos of almost all of them. I haven't covered all of them yet, but slowly I'm gonna be doing it. I'm gonna put here a playlist. In this playlist, you can just click there and see my Crocodile video, my Doflamingo video, okay, some of the newer ones as well, and slowly I will cover them all, because I have theories and ideas about all of them, and I wanna kind of cover them and mention them here so we can actually have a little bit of a structure, okay, when I do the playlists, so you can see, you want to learn about each one of them. With this playlist you are able to slowly know more of the lore that surround each one of them, okay? That is my plan. I have other playlists only about the Straw Hats, only about the mechanical ancient weapons, only about the Blackbeard pirates, and as well, slowly I'm gonna be filling them. So we have more content in there, more theories, more drawings, more ideas, and we can comment it and talk about it, okay? I think the character is almost done. I'm just gonna be drawing the hair a little bit here, and I would say I can start. As you see here, the cape is going on top of his arms, so he may look a little bit more compact. I'm gonna pull the trouser a little bit up like this, but I think we are good to move into the next round, okay? For that I'm gonna be using, as usual, the Unipin fine liner, this time 0.2. Sometimes I use 0.1, that is the thinnest, one of the thinnest I have, but in this time, in this specific drawing, we will use 0.2, okay? The Donquixote brothers, as I said before, are not natural from the Rosa, okay? They come from Marijua, as they belong to the group called Tenryubitos. The Tenryubitos in One Piece are the ones who control the world. These are the descendants of the 20 kingdoms, plus the rest of the kingdoms that they united later to these 20. That they say there's more than 150 or more than 170 at the moment. these are the people who have become accommodated, full of themselves. They see everyone lesser than them. They rule the world with iron hand. Are you from a different race? Are you Gyojin, giant? You're gonna be a slave. Are you not a Tenryubito? You are like a commoner. You're gonna be a slave. They would take whoever they want, whenever they want, and to do this, they have military force. They have the Marines under their control. They have the special forces, the special units like the CP0 and the other CPs as well under their control. And basically, people are utterly terrified of these Tenryubito guys. They have very funny-looking, weird, cartoony design, and the characters are very funny, drawn. This is all because Oda's way of representing the grotesque and the bizarre in One Piece, the bad people in One Piece, that they are rotten to the core, is by drawing them as well grotesque and cartoony and funny looking, like you will see, and they are very silly, but at the same time is because they are very bad people. Okay, let's define a little bit the face like this. I just want to focus 1 second here. So we see. We make sure that the face, we kind of have the face, just the makeup a little bit like a clown design. I think that as well why you will have this kind of clumsiness drawn or created around Rosinante, because this kind of clownish face, all of the Donquixote family represent the cards of the game, and as well I guess you have some moves like this, and it has the hearts hanging here. Yeah, I think the face ended up looking very nice, like this. It's cool. Now we will do the rest, continue doing the rest here. Just kind of want to figure out here 1 second, because I didn't draw much what the shirt was gonna be looking like. What we can do here like this. And it will be a good idea if I kind of do this first as well, to define this kind of cape or cloak, or I don't know how to call it, to be honest, but if anyone has the name of this specific, this has a name. I don't think this is like a boa. Boa is more like a scarf that they will use in cabaret and things like this. But the texture, it represents something similar like that. Okay, like the decoration. Okay. All of this is gonna be black. The flamingo's cape is like pinkish, but this one for him is black with the darkness. It's not a dark character, but it's represented with these colors. A lot of contrast with the hearts and everything. Very interesting. Let's do the hand as well. He, as I said, is a smoker like Sanji, so we do the design there for the hand and everything. And the shirt. Okay. Okay. Looking very nice, to be honest, here. Let's see here. So, as I was mentioning, the Tenryubitos, within the Tenryubitos, inside the Tenryubitos group, there are multiple types of Tenryubitos, different levels, let's say, of Tenryubitos, that we are not gonna go into that because we will go too much into territory that I don't want to touch today. We're talking about Doflamingo's group, we're talking about Rosinante today, and the reason to be and everything. But by clicking in this video here about the Tenryubitos, I can explain you a little bit more who are the Tenryubitos and how Oda designed them from the astronauts in real life, okay? But for now we are just gonna be focusing a little bit more in Rosinante and the Doflamingo character and the Donquixote family, okay? When Doflamingo and Rosinante, Corazón, were little, their parents and, you know, all of them were living in Marijoa. The parents decided they wanted to live with the common people, and they were a good-hearted couple. They believed they could have a nice life living down below amongst the normal people, and the Tenryubitos didn't like this at all. But yeah, obviously, Homin, that is the father, Donquixote Homin, decided to take the family down. They went there to live. They had a little nice house and everything, but soon they realized that the hate towards the Tenryubitos, this hate thundered on top of the common people during the centuries from the Tenryubitos. Now was coming back to them 1,000-fold. Okay, so they were chased, attacked, tortured by the villagers. You know, at some point at the very end, they even hanged them and they crucified them and everything while throwing arrows at them. So very cruel. So you can understand how someone can become bad. Someone like Doflamingo can become bad, but by having bad influences like Treble, that Treble will come later and it will influence Doflamingo to be even worse than what he is at the moment. And when you see Rosinante having the same path, having the same problems, having the same suffering, he decides to take the good path and be a good person and try to help everybody and even try to save his brother and try to stop his brother, okay? So this whole story, when they were kids, it ended up with the mom dying of an illness because they didn't even have anything to eat. And the father, in regret, tried to come back to Marijoa, but the Tenryubitos wouldn't have that. And they said, you are not one of us anymore, we don't recognize you, get out of here. So they left them there to die, basically. Let's move this a little bit. We are almost done with the line work as well. Okay, so let's create here, there's one finger here. Something like this will work for me. Okay. Doflamingo was always a Tenryubito character, okay, in the sense of despicable, malevolent character. He multiplied his already raging fury even more and then ended up killing his father with a gun. And Rosinante, who seemed like a quieter kid, sorry, obviously suffered the same fate like he suffered, as I said before, but he didn't seem so full of hatred. Okay, he didn't end up like that. Rosinante saw during his youth how a monster was being created. Doflamingo had become a monster, and Doflamingo at some point even tried to come back to Marijoa, to go back to Marijoa with his father's head to recover the position as Tenryubito, and this was denied, like kind of to try to please them, and was denied. This created a lot of hate, extra hate in Doflamingo, and he there said, okay, I'm gonna go against these guys. He joined the Shichibukai because he had, let's say, privileged information about something regarding the Tenryubitos that I will not gonna be mentioning here because it's big spoiler, obviously, for some people that may not be there at that point at the moment. But he decided to continue. They offered him the position of Shichibukai because of this and everything. Okay, there is a time after Doflamingo kills his father and everything that Rosinante disappears. Okay, and as they grew and the Donquixote family as a pirate crew started to be created, you know, when Treble met with Doflamingo, and then as well you have showing up Pica, Bergo, that is the former Corazón, and Diamante, and slowly the rest of the guys start joining. But you have a young Doflamingo that because he's traded, because his hatred, he awakened Supreme Conqueror's Haki, and this was seen by Treble as a person who he needed to follow. So he automatically crowned him as a leader, and they decided to follow him, making him even a worse character than he already was there, and kind of retorting him more to become even more bad. So everything, I would say, went down by the presence of Treble. That is my opinion. I think influences and father figures in One Piece is something that I touch a lot in my videos, and this is one of those things. If someone that wasn't Treble would have found Doflamingo and would have assisted Doflamingo and helped Doflamingo, the story would have come completely different, I would say. It is very sad, but it is very real what happens in this story, and specifically with Doflamingo. When someone that bad, like Treble, comes to your life and teaches you things, even in your work, when you have like a bad mentor, this will come out later, and it is very horrendous, I would say. It is very horrendous, I would say. This pirate crew of misfits, this group of radical pirates looking for power, they managed, this family of evil, they managed to overthrow the Rosa current king, Riku Doldo III, as the Don Quixote officially, so originally, they came from that kingdom, okay? So, as I explained before, the 800 years ago, there was a fight, the good guys against the bad guys, I suppose, and the world government won. These 20 kingdoms, they had 20 kings in 20 islands, let's say, and they took the positions of Tenryubitos. They created this position of Tenryubitos in Marejua. Okay, they took over that territory and they stayed there in Marejua. What happened is that the kingdoms that they were living, like Dressrosa, they decided to leave another family, like a secondary family there, to be the new rulers of the kingdom, and then they moved into the Marejua. That's up in the red line. Okay, this kind of castle area that is like a massive town, and all of them, they live there together, like royalty. Okay, so the only family that didn't do that was the Arabasta kingdom, the Cobra family, the Nefertari family. And I explained this in other videos that you can see as well in the channel with Bibi and everything, and what happened there. But basically, all of them but one did this move, and they decided to live up there in the other area. So this territory basically was claimed by Doflamingo when he said, okay, I'm gonna have to live here, I'm gonna be staying with the commoners, so I'm gonna take over, I'm gonna kind of try to make Riku look bad, and I will take over, kind of like I'm the savior. Similar storyline, like what happened with Crocodile as well in the Arabasta story. And I say this because when storytelling happens, and when something so big like the One Piece story happens, we have this these patterns, and we see so obvious that Don Quixote do Flamingo was never meant to be such a big thing with the Rosan things. He was more. This was more for Crocodile, because we see this pattern with Crocodile, but because the extension of the story, Oda had to obviously reuse some of the things. That it's okay, we see this all the time, we see this in all the stories and everything, but it is true that it's a little bit too similar in this aspect, okay? I'm gonna be adding some dark already, because I want to fill the gaps here. I'm thinking about actually making the whole thing. It can be nice, I think, if I do the whole thing like in black for the contrast. Yeah, let's do it like this. It's a little bit of a different type of coloring of what I'm used to with the feeling, because if Trafalgar Law is wearing a black cloak, I will draw it like that, but in this case that is kind of dark grayish. Some of the drawings design this cape more dark than others, some others gray, some other kind of dark bluish, but I think I want to go for the black design. It gives me more this kind of dangerous aspect of a pirate, or of a character that will be doing secret things, okay? That now we'll go into that in a second, and the secrets of Rosinante as well, okay? So during his empire of terror, basically, and while Rosinante was still quite young, we learned from the Flamingo that Rosinante disappeared for several years, okay? Because he basically put it on a plate there to say, he says, where have you been, this and that, but he's not talking. We understand that something happened there, and what happened here, let me tell you, is that Rosinante, met with Admiral Sengoku, and he wanted to undo all the wrongs his brother was doing, so he ended up training as a marine and became a kind of a ranked marine, an officer, and he wanted to kind of stop all these malicious things that the pirate crew of the brother was doing. So he could keep the Flamingo at bay, let's say, and destroy the organization from inside. All this was going on during many years. He came back as a double agent, okay, infiltrated within. So a former pirate that now was a marine infiltrated in secret as a spy in the organization of the pirates again. So kind of a double agent situation. Very interesting and very nice. Kind of role that is something very similar to what we are seeing with Drake and with Sword and with all these characters, and how I think this connects pretty nice and pretty beautiful with the concept of Sword. Okay, we have there suddenly the character Trafalgar Law as a kid showing up, and Corazón, Rosinante, sees how the Flamingo is, let's say, shaping Law to become as bad as he is, and it is clearly explained a couple of times that he wants Law kind of to take over after him. This is mentioned a couple of times, but the Flamingo has no kids, but kind of he's nurturing him to take over the organization. The Flamingo has no intentions of dying, no idea of being killed. He doesn't want to die. The OP and all this secret with the OP is basically to extend his life or to swap his body. But I think as a backup, it may be one of these things. He basically wants to use Law later on when he realizes he has the fruit and everything, but originally, before he gets the fruit, before all the Rosinante story happens and everything, I think that's the original idea that he has. And using, obviously, all of this with Law's illness, kind of making him bad because he's already bad because of the illness, as an excuse, basically, to kind of feed this bad behavior from Law. Corazon's sense of justice, what made him enroll into the Marines and be a double agent and spy and everything, to stop his brother is decided, is clearly shown here when he takes Law and escapes and he goes away with the intention, and he says this to the crew, to find a cure. So I'm gonna go and find a cure for him. So he disappears by leaving a note. So he's gonna find a cure. Some time pass, visiting many hospitals, and this whole story seemed basically impossible. With all of this, Law didn't want to go with him. The whole time he was like basically like a kidnapped kid, but Corazón was doing it for good, for his own good, and it ended up happening that time passed and everything. Law saw his dedication. Law could see that he actually was caring about him. He wasn't kind of doing this with bad intention, and he was appreciating him, and he was kind of supporting him, saying him that he loves him and everything. So Law ended up basically adoring him, respecting him like a father, like a uncle figure, like a father figure, someone that he had long lost, because as we know, Law lost his family at a young age, like Rosinante. So I think Rosinante could read very well into the story of Law and understand what happened to him, and that's why he wanted to help, and he didn't want to see this character becoming a bad guy. He knew the brother became so bad because the interactions with Treble and the bad influence with Treble, and he wanted to give him a good influence as well, apart from helping him, like we see Sengoku giving to him, and that's why he became good as well. Okay, so there are many things like that happen that makes Rosinante a very interesting character, and the connection with Law a very interesting connection. Okay, so there is this theory I have about Law that I'm gonna put here. Very nice as well, very well received in the channel as well, and basically check it out in that video. I am not gonna go much into details there, I'm just gonna explain it a little bit. But basically I say that Law is one of the members of SWORD at the same level of Drake. Okay, there is this multiple times connection with the Drake character in the story. When we see Drake showing up, we see Law showing up in multiple occasions. We see Luffy having this paternal figure that he never had in Shanks, finding this person in Shanks, and that's why he wants to become a pirate, because Shanks is a pirate and he wants to be the pirate king and everything. But wouldn't it make sense? Why would Law keep being a pirate instead of being a double agent? And why would Law become Shichibukai and everything? Why Law would become like the person who swore to eliminate Doflamingo instead of becoming like Rosinante? So I think all of these parts in Law's story and the connection with Rosinante, it is extremely important, and the whole story with Law so far has been a diversion. Law is so loved in the community. He has so many storylines all the time. Nice characters like with Beppo, Sachi, Penguin, and Gembard working with him and everything. So all these guys already have a story with us in Wano, in Pun Hazard, with Kinemon, with Momo, with Kaido. The whole story with Doflamingo as well. I don't think Oda is gonna leave him out. I think Oda needs to return this character to the story. I know there is not much time, but there is a perfect excuse that is SWORD. There is a perfect excuse that is Drake and Kobe and the good guys, and they are under the command of someone. Someone needs to be manning this organization, and this can't be Drake. This can't be Garp. We see Garp is not a member. Garp is aware of that, but he's not a member. Sengoku is retired. It will be very weird that the boss of the Marines has kind of created a secret organization within his own organization. So even if he had connections with Rosinante, he prepared spies like Rosinante. He may be in connection as well with Law, and that's why we see him talking and having a chat about Rosinante at the very end of Dressrosa, when everything is kind of finished with the story of the characters. The only old character that is left there, that it may be very well connected with the sword organization, that it will be nice to have a little bit more story with her, is Suru. Suru is the old woman that is always with Garp and always with Sengoku. They were together young Marines that they enrolled together, they fought together, and they were in the biggest fights, all of them together. It will make sense that she may be some sort of overseeing this group. It could be very interesting. I would love to see that, and it can be interesting for the story. Okay, so we kind of have a storyline for her. We have a little bit of a story with her. It is interesting, and at the same time you can understand why this guy will talk with Sengoku. You will understand why later Law will talk with Sengoku as well. You will understand why Suru was the character who went to Swallow Island when the time that they were disappeared. They were trying to find a cure for Law, and Doflamingo called them. Doflamingo called them because he got information. Okay, all of this is because he already suspects that the brother is a rat, is a traitor. So he calls him and he says, "Okay, come back. I found the Ope-Ope, and the Ope-Ope, they know that it may be the solution for them to save Law in one instance, but in another instance to make Doflamingo stronger." So okay, so he goes. He has this information. He talks with his boss, at that time that is Sengoku. Okay, and what happens here is very weird, because it's kind of it's a trap for the person who's trying to make a trap. So he basically is lured into a situation where Sengoku knows that the fruit is gonna be there's gonna be exchange with the barrel, the DS barrel pirates, the ex-Drake father in Swallow Island. Is gonna happen. There's gonna be exchange of a fruit for some money. Doflamingo is gonna go and get the fruit. The Marines are gonna go and get the fruit, and at the same time trap and capture the Doflamingo family. Rosinante realizes about this, and he says, "Look, I'm not gonna play for one. I'm not gonna play for the other one either. I'm just gonna go on my own. I am gonna go infiltrate in secret, and this fruit is gonna end up being for Law, because it's never explained, but because." The capacities and the abilities of these fruits will give Law another opportunity to live, and he will be able to, let's say, heal, okay, or kind of survive. So he does that. He goes there in secret. He uses his fruit, the calm fruit, to silence the space. He steals the Ope-Ope. He escapes. He's been shot a couple of times. He's bleeding. He's escaping in the snow. It's a snowy island from the North Blue. He's escaping. He ends up encountering Doflamingo. And Doflamingo, they are looting the place as well. They have treasure and everything there. By this time, he already seen Law, and he has given him the fruit. He swallowed it straight away. He ate it straight away. He's put into a treasure chest, and then the Doflamingo conversation happens. He reveals that, okay, I know that, brother, I know that you are a rat. You betrayed me. I'm gonna kill you. And he reveals there that he can talk and everything. He explains everything that he can, that why he was behaving like that and everything, and he wanted to stop him and everything. And Doflamingo obviously feels betrayed again, like with the father, with the mother, with everyone, and he kills him. There is a beautiful speech of Rosinante there by dying, like kind of Law, like Nico Robin, go out to sea, find your friends, leave, you are young, leave. And for me, that is in a storytelling. This is a masterpiece of storytelling. This is a very emotional story, and this is a part of the One Piece story that we can't overlook. So we need to acknowledge that the father figure of Law was this man, this guy, Corazón. It makes no sense that he is gonna be following the path of Doflamingo, becoming a super bad Chichibukai and a bad guy. We see his friendship, his brotherhood that he has now with Luffy, and he has been introduced very nice with the story with Luffy and company, and he has the situation with Nico Robin in Punk Hazard when Nico Robin says, Luffy, careful with the alliances with the pirates because they end up in betrayal. Luffy asks Law, are you gonna betray me? He says no. And that's it. That settles the situation. They continue the story. We never heard of it again. But we don't want Law to betray Luffy in the bad sense of the word, in the bad sense of the explanation of the situation. But we want him to have lied Luffy at that point for his own gain, because that's what we wanted to see, his own gain in the story. So it will make sense if we see Law coming soon into the story by being shown with Drake, with ex-Drake, and they were introduced in the same panel. They were introduced in Shamondi together while the fight was going on. They were introduced together as well in Wano when they were Drake saved him, so Draw could come back and fight together with Luffy again. And why? Because they are Nakama. They are Nakama there, but Oda wants to keep it a secret at the moment. Because Law is so loved, we don't want to follow him all the time. We want to follow Luffy, but this makes total sense, and I think if Oda doesn't do this, he's missing a very nice opportunity for the character development of Law by not making him a double agent as well, like his father figure that is Corazón. Okay, all of this I think is very interesting. Okay, for me, I find it very interesting because One Piece is a story of real life situations and stories that touch you so much. We cried with Nico Robin, we cried with Chopper, we cried with many situations in One Piece. We cried, and we cried with Law as well. But if someone so loved in the story, in the polls, in the community, by everyone, that is Law, it happens to have like a comeback, a mini comeback. So we see the real colors of Law. The real reason of Law doing what he did, the real acknowledge of Law explaining, Corazón, I'm doing this for you, blah blah blah, and everything, and all of this at the end of the story. You don't need to give super importance to the character anymore. You just need to mention that, I'm gonna help Luffy here at the end of the story because blah blah blah. In that theory, I explain that the help will come by helping Brook. But by having all of these things, you can reintroduce the character. You can clean the history of the character by showing him that he was loyal to Corazón the whole time, not even in the means of doing the thing, but in the position that he had in the world by siding with the good guys with Sword. It will make sense with the connection with Drake and everything, and I would see the Corazón character coming to an end, because Corazón didn't want to just stop Doflamingo. Okay, Corazón was a good guy. He was a marine. When you become marine, you don't want to stop only a specific pirate. You want to make the world a better place. And the whole attack of Law towards Doflamingo, the whole story with Law and Doflamingo is hatred and revenge that he wouldn't have wanted. He wouldn't have wanted that. So I think it's a good way of cleaning the path of Trafalgar Law if he has been doing the whole story, all the actions under the umbrella of SWORD, under the umbrella of a spy with the Marines, infiltrated as a pirate, like Doflamingo, infiltrated as Shichibukai, like Doflamingo, to bring down Doflamingo. That it is true that he went a little bit on his own too much, and the connection with Luffy too much and everything, and he lost control of the situation, yes, but always under the umbrella of, in this case, Sengoku conversation, that maybe Sengoku didn't even know this, maybe it's Suru in the background, talking with him, talking with Drake, talking with Sword, talking with Kobe, it could be. This is kind of the Suru position is a theory. They could have had no boss, and they are just a group of good Marines on their own, but it will make sense, and it will as well close the circle on Rosinante and give him a closure for the character, because Doflamingo is coming back. Doflamingo is in Impel Down. Doflamingo is gonna escape. Magellan is there. The world is sinking. The water is gonna end up filling Impel Down soon. Magellan is not gonna let the people die in the prison because he's good. He's a good guy. So they need to escape. And with this escape, Bonchan is going to be out, Doflamingo is going to be out, Magellan is going to be out, and they need to be in the main story, not for a major role, but in the final war they need to be in the story. Okay, I think I'm finished. I like it very much. Let's sign for today. This is DavidViadel23. DavidViadel23, you can say it as you want, and this is the Mandragon's Cave. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the theory, the analysis, the kind of going through the character and the family and the brother and the law. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next video, and thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!